For our first story, we have, is it me or him? Frustrated by my fiancé's behavior after our doctor's visit. Me 35 female, him 40 male. I, 35 female, am 6 months pregnant. Today we went to my gynecologist for my monthly checkup. I usually go alone, but this time my fiancé went with me. He didn't like that she couldn't tell us the width of the baby's bones and kept asking how come she can't tell. He later explained that it was important for him because apparently the width of someone's bones determines how big and strong the baby will be. It all seemed quite silly to both my doctor and me. The only thing we both cared about was that the baby was growing, healthy and seems altogether perfect. He hyper-focused on this tiny little detail and became quite rude to my doctor. When we left the office, he didn't seem happy or excited at all, just angry and annoyed. He then proceeded to stare at a girl who was walking by us and commented how beautiful she was. Didn't say a single thing about the baby being healthy, didn't seem to give a single fuck about the baby or me at all. I already noticed he's quite focused on himself, but he always seemed excited about the baby. I was upset he didn't talk about the baby, but instead turned his head to look at a girl, doing his best Linda Blair in The Exorcist impression? Guess I'm not sure what the question is here. Just wondering if I'm overrun by pregnancy hormones or he's acting like a douchebag. Update. He just had another angry outburst, so it was like a sign from some higher power after all of your comments too. He lives in my home, so I'm gonna speak to a lawyer about kicking him out, and I'm packing my bags as soon as he's not home. I'm legit afraid of him. Thank you for everyone's comments. This is total insanity. That's the end of our first post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, normally I would do a more detailed commentary on this, but honestly top to bottom that Mont's behavior is legitimately unhinged in this situation. You're not crazy. To be honest, his behavior is so neurotic, weird, and mean-spirited. Certainly the last bit is just like, I don't know you, or your fiancé, but unquestionably this man has got some issues you should keep an eye on. Our second commenter says, yeah, he's a self-centered idiot. Prenatal bone width is not a thing. Prenatal scans can tell you if there is something possibly going wrong, like if long bones are much too short. He seems to be fixated on whether the baby will reflect well on him or bolster his self-image. You may want to prepare now for post-birth support on someone who is not your BF. I suspect that he's not going to do well with the intense focus on the newborn child, and not His Majesty. Our third commenter says, I mean they don't actually measure the width of bones during routine scans. But I bet your doctor has made a note to be sure to ask if you feel safe at home during your next solo appointment. Not to be rude or anything, but has your fiancé got a diagnosis of anything, as this is a really odd thing to fixate on, and then the stuff with the girl outside on top is super creepy. For our second story, we have, Mike 35 female, tested positive for chlamydia. Me, 36 male. Me and my wife have been married since 2016, been dating since 2008, have 2 kids together, one just turned 1 last month. This past Monday she received news from her doctor that she tested positive for chlamydia. She immediately contacted me while I was working to give me the news. She seemed very shocked. She had seen the doctor because she had been having pain down there and thought it might have been from changing tampon brands. She was given antibiotics that same day and has already started her treatment. This morning we went together to get myself tested so we can find out if I have it too. I have also been having symptoms of discomfort that align to a similar time frame as her, so I'm very confident that my results will show positive. During our entire relationship I have remained faithful, so as you can imagine it's hard for me not to want to point the finger. Since we found out, she has insisted that she has also remained faithful and has nothing to hide. I truly want to believe her because we have built such a beautiful life together, house, kids, friends, etc. Her theory is that it came from me but from a previous relationship, 17 years ago, which all of the research I have done shows that's a very small chance if at all. Last night I requested to look through her phone, which she agreed. She unlocked it and handed it to me immediately, but I didn't end up doing it because I felt that her reaction answered my question if she had anything to hide on it. This evening I asked her how she would feel about doing a polygraph test, and she welcomed the idea, once again stating she has no secrets and this either had to come from me being unfaithful or it lying dormant. A few months ago she got on a new gym craze and has been really committed to it, 4/5 days a week. She typically will go after the kids are asleep and come home around midnight, sometimes later. Since we found out about this situation, she hasn't missed a single gym night even on Monday when we found out about this. Whereas I can barely keep my head straight and function, she seems to be handling it like nothing out of the ordinary. I know not everyone handles things the same, and she has told me that she goes to the gym to help get her mind off it, but it just seems that it's not bothering her like it is me. I have never caught her in any serious lies or had any real reasons to suspect her of cheating throughout our relationship. When we have talked about this situation, she doesn't seem like she is lying, normal eye contact, no fidgeting, no trying to change the subject. And as stated, she hasn't refused to agree to my requests for further digging. I really don't know where to go from here, with or without a positive test on my end, and seeking any advice on how I should move forward. Thank you. That's the end of our second post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, "Ask your doctor if it's possible to be dormant for 17 years. Why didn't it show up in her pregnancy testing? The doctor is the best person to answer your questions." Our second commenter says, "Why isn't she suspicious of you? If I got chlamydia right now, things would definitely not be great between my husband and I would be going through his phone and sleeping in a separate room. Because I know I didn't sleep with anyone." That's the part missing from this story. Our third commenter says, "Her lack of reaction is making me question whether she's telling the truth. If I knew I wasn't the one stepping out, I would totally be freaking out on my husband. She's too calm." For our last story, we have Mike, 32 female, boyfriend, 32 male, picked up the bill while out with a friend, and is now refusing to pay a utility bill until I pay him back. "So yesterday I was supposed to have lunch with a friend, but my boyfriend wanted to come with because he hadn't met them yet. At the start of the meal, I said everything was on one bill because my friend had picked up our lunch tab the last time we went out to eat together. When the check came, I was getting my wallet out to lay down my card when my boyfriend offered to pay. So my friend and I were like, 'Oh, thank you so much.' He never said anything about covering the meal, until I sent him a Venmo for our internet bill today. He said that I needed to pay him for the meal yesterday, and I asked why. He said that he didn't offer to pay for the whole meal, he just wanted the points on his card. At this point, though, I feel like he does these grand gestures in front of my friends and then later on asks me to front part or all of a meal. So if I don't send him money for our meal yesterday, he's not paying the internet bill. I'm really frustrated and confused as to how he doesn't see that this is kind of screwed up. Can someone help me? I feel like I'm going crazy with these scenarios, but this has happened before." That's the end of our last post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, "Get rid of him. He's too old for these games. And you're too old to accept them. Update me." Our second commenter says, "I'm not sure what there is to say. Your boyfriend is a turd. You know this." Our third commenter says, "Why would you let it slide the first time? You said it yourself. He does grand gestures in front of your friends and then tries to guilt trip you. Attempting to withhold payment for the bill is abusive AF." That's all for today. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.